Hey everybody, Dave here, Hidden Off Grid. In this video, I want to talk about how finding the Appalachian Trail helped me become a millionaire in 7 years. So from 2010 to about 2019, I've been traveling extensively for work, and I've traveled overseas. I've traveled quite a bit in the US, New York, DC, New Jersey, Florida, California, South Dakota, Washington, to name a few of the states I've been to for work. In addition, I've traveled to Kuwait, I've traveled to Qatar and worked in Qatar for literally almost 2 years, about 20 months total in Qatar. And after traveling all this time, when I was working in Rome, New York, which is a little town up in, upstate New York, I would call that, BFE up there, so bum Egypt. It's just a little teeny town up there, and I was, sitting in a hotel room. I worked in the account for about a year. And sitting in a hotel room, there's not a lot to do. I spent a lot of time in a hotel room. I got the Marriott Rewards points to show for it. But, I did a lot of hiking when I was up in upstate New York. Pretty much everywhere I ever went. I always try to see the local areas and all that. So I did go drive over to Niagara Falls and went over to Canada and Toronto and all that. But everywhere I go, if there's any hikes close by, I always try to seek them out. So I went on a couple of hikes in upstate New York over the weekend because I don't fly home on the weekends. I would normally stay over the weekend I'd normally stay about for a couple of weeks up to a month, and then I'd fly home and stay home for a week or two, and then I'd go back. It's just, I don't like flying, so I'd rather just stay there over the weekend, and then, the company's paying me for the hotel, they're paying for the car, they're paying for the gas, they're paying for the food, they're paying for all that stuff, so why not use that as kind of a vacation to go see local, sites and all that stuff. That's what I did. So that's how I saw Niagara Falls, that's how I saw Toronto, which I've been to a couple times, but I went on a couple hikes when I was there, but when I was researching more hikes, I came across the Appalachian Trail. And I had never heard of the Appalachian Trail. Obviously, I've heard of Appalachia, right? I know that Rebecca Request a Fire is going to, probably slap my ass with about that one. I don't know, maybe slap my, with a paddle or something. I don't know, maybe yardstick, but because she likes to call it the real name, but I've heard everybody ever call it Appalachian Trail, so that's what I'm going to call it. Just know that you might get chastised or, maybe get your balls busted for calling it that, but it is what it is. You know what I'm talking about. So it is a through hike it starts in Georgia and it goes all the way to Maine. It's about 2,200 miles, a little over 2,200 miles total. And people, do this. Most of the time they're younger when they do it, but people do this in their 40s and 50s, 60s, and I think maybe even up in their 70s. Some of these have done it, but when I found that Appalachian Trail, I was like, well, it takes about 4 to 6 months. I think 6 months they say on average, but I think I'm in a little bit better shape than some people. I live here at 5,500 feet in Denver. I've, hiked, 9 14ers here. So I think I'm a little bit better shape than probably I'd say most people. I think the highest mountain I would be climbing on that Appalachian Trail is about 6,000 feet, if I'm not mistaken. I think about 4,000 feet an elevation gain is a couple of the mountains, but it is what it is. So I've climbed a lot of mountains here, starting about 10,000 feet, going past tree line, and ending a little bit over 14,000 feet. So when I found the trail, I was like, all right, well, I need to quit work to do this. I can't, take any time off of work. I can't get 6 months to take off of work. So what am I going to do? I mean, I need to quit work. And then somehow I literally was searching, retiring early or something like that. And I came across Mr. Money Mustache. And this is in 2014, by the way. So he had been retired for a little while. And I was like, oh man, this is crazy. And it was just a rabbit hole up to this point. Like once you find him, you find the fire movement, there's a lot of rabbit holes to go off of. There's a lot of videos to, research and go all that. You got JL Collins and stuff. You got Go Curry Cracker. You got Mr. 1500. You got, which I don't think Mr. 1500 was retired yet. And then there was another one that I follow as well. But all these sites, kind of help me out, put me in the right direction. I need to have a high savings rate, which my savings rate from 2010 to 2014 was still pretty high, but it wasn't as high as it could be. I think it was like 40 or 50%, something like that back then. Ever since I got back from working in Qatar, I just, I didn't buy as much stuff. I was kind of living on a minimalist lifestyle, but 2015, I just, set it on fire and really started doing 60% and above take-home pay. So over the last 5, almost 6 years now, I've had a take-home savings rate of 65%, somewhere about between 65 and about 68%, upwards of 70% depending on how big my bonus is and other income generating sources that I have. And I'm not talking about, this is straight coming from my job, okay? I'm not talking about investment income or anything like that. I'm not counting that in there. I'm just talking about my take-home pay for my job. And then I also max out my 401k. Now, I hadn't maxed it out my entire life or anything like that. It was just recently, maybe the last 3 years, I started maxing out the 401k because I need that tax advantage if I can, because I pay a lot of money in taxes. So I do max it out, 19,500 this year. I think it went up a little bit, and I also max out my HSA as well. I'm not including that in the actual savings rate at all, okay? So I'm just talking about 65% roughly of my take-home pay. Obviously, if you added that other amount in there, 27,000 or something like that, because you got the 401k match and all that, plus the max they put in, that's tax deferred anyway, including the HSA and all that. I'm not including that in there, but that would raise the saving rate up as well. So after finding the Appalachian Trail, really just, cut out a lot of expenses, got rid of cable. In 2014, I got rid of cable. I was on the road 6 months out of the year, living in hotels. So I was able to save a lot more money because I didn't have to pay for food when I was sitting in the hotel for 6 months. I didn't drive my car, put my car in what's called storage, USAA, because I was in the military in the past. USAA has an option to put your car in storage, and it only has to be in there for 30 days. You can keep it longer than 30 days, but the minimum it can be in there is 30 days. And guess what? They charge you like 20 bucks a month or 10 bucks a month or something like that, instead of the usual 50 bucks a month or something like that. So that's a nice feature that USAA has. If you have USAA, think about putting your car in storage if you're going on vacation for over 30 days. In addition, my company does pay for my cell phone bill. I don't have to pay for that, right? Obviously the internet, the electricity and all that stuff, the gas, I got to pay for when I'm out of town, but obviously I'm not here using gas. I'm using water. I'm not using electricity, so all those bills come down. So I'm able to save quite a bit of money when I'm on the road. That helped. And then, the pandemic happened in early 2020, and I've been home since November 2019. Have not been back to the customer site since 2019. But, I am going to retire next year. And I'm not really, been here home for over a year now straight. So yes, the gas has gone up, the food's gone up. I spend about over $500 a month in food. But honestly, my savings rate still last year, I saved about $66,000 of my take-home pay. So I still was right on target there, even spending the whole year at home. So I don't know how I was able to do it, but I just live real frugally, and that helped me become a millionaire in 2017. And then also here in 2022, I'm hoping to hit about 1.9 if I really could. I'm hoping I can hit $2 million by 2022. That's going to be a stretch, and hopefully I can make that happen. But, the Appalachian Trail, I can really, chalk it up to that, because that's been a goal of mine to do since 2020. My goal was to do the Appalachian Trail in 2020, ever since 2014. That was what I set the sights on, as 2020. Obviously, 2020 has passed. We had a pandemic. I didn't retire. And then 2021, they also are saying don't go on the Appalachian Trail, although there is people doing it this year. It looks like the pandemic is subsiding, and it looks like 2022 is a good year to start the AT. So I can, thank me for finding the AT in 2014 and going down the rabbit hole of financial independence, retire early, the FIRE movement, finding Mr. Money Mustache, and, him running the numbers, even though I'm literally, like 15, 16 years after him retiring, with double the amount of money that he had when he retired. He had about $800,000, I think, when he retired. about $600,000 I think in cash, plus about a house was worth about $250 if I'm not mistaken, because I know where he lives. I live in Colorado. I know where he lives, and in 2014 that's probably about what his house would be worth, is my guess. So he retired about $850,000 is my guess, and that was in his 30s I think, and I might have just turned 30 if I'm not mistaken. So and he has a 4% withdrawal rate. Obviously things change for him now. The blog site makes quite a bit of money, but I got double the amount of money, and I'm a lot older than he was, so I think there's a lot of unknowns taken out of the equation. And him just running the numbers, I've engineered my retirement at 3%, or excuse me, 3.5%, and I'm older, so there's a lot less unknowns I got to worry about. So at this point, I think the numbers will work, and there's a lot of things I'm going to share on this channel about that. So you can take a look at my other channel, Hidden Freedom Investing, if you want to look at more of the numbers about how I'm going to retire, portfolio-wise and all that. This channel is really just to talk about, how I got here, what I'm going to do afterwards, the process to get to retirement, and all the things after that. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go leave me a comment below. Hit me up on Facegram, Twitter, or you can shoot me an email if you want. So until next time, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.